Hello, good morning. Welcome to the Deep Wisdom Stories. Well, this is not going to be a story. This might be just talking about things we can learn to make ourselves better, to make our families better, and to make our interactions better. And I think we can talk about today. I think we should talk about the mistakes we make when raising children as a family. And I think most people would agree that ultimately, when you're dealing with their children, you're dealing from a position of love. I think that's important. Let's establish that first. I don't think there's anyone that wants to, well, there's some people, of course, the weirdos, but I think most people want to deal with their children from a position of love. And so we make mistakes somehow when we deal with our children, perhaps because we're human beings that have our own needs and we don't consider their needs, their wants, their ambitions, and their just overall well-being or the sovereignty of that individual. And not just our children, our siblings. Like you might be an older sibling as well, and how you treat that sibling might actually affect their worldview, how they choose to see the world, their mindset, and all that. And so I understand that we have to honor our parents, but I was always stuck on this verse, the Bible verse that says, "Honor your father and your mother." And then it says, "Please do not anger." In the second verse, the second the second part of that, I think it must have been the next verse. It says, "Do not anger your children to wrath." Right? Please don't anger them to wrath, because I think what the Bible, which is like the greatest wisdom book, I think what the Bible was trying to say was, these people you're trying to that I've put in your care, if you make them angry, they don't have enough logic to understand, and that can actually shape how they start to think. Have you ever met someone that just, maybe just jump to conclusions sometimes? Like you said something just because that's the experience they've experienced. That's what they just that's how their mind is now wired sometimes. Or you've met someone that might be lackadaisical about life, or you say something to somebody and they just imagine the worst thing possible. That might be the way their mindset is built. I'm going to give an example. So I was just thinking, and that's why I just said, let me just turn on, let me just record this. I was thinking, when I was growing up, I must have been 7 or between 6 and 7. I don't remember my exact age. Maybe 7 or 8. Maybe I was a little bit older than 7. I think I must have been 8. Yes, I must have been 8. 8. Yeah. Anyway, so I wanted to buy a puppy. There was um there was in my church at the time, opposite church, there used to be like a family that were rearing dogs, and so I went to the I went to the people, and they had these puppies. I saw the puppies at the cage. I was like putting my hand on the cage. I see the puppies licking my hands. I was like, oh, this is so cute. I want a puppy. 8-year-old boy wanting a puppy, right? Wanting to buy a puppy. It's not like, and I knew my mom doesn't. Then again, I don't know how I'll feed the puppy. Now I'm thinking about it, which goes back to the logic, right? I'm like, how am I going to feed this puppy? How am I? I didn't think of all that. I just wanted a puppy. I didn't care about if the puppy poops or gets sick or all that. I just wanted a puppy, literally. And so it was even not like this thing was like a proper local dog puppy, but I didn't know any of all these things, which is fine. I mean, it's a dog, it's a puppy, whatever. And so I I spoke to the owner and I said, how much is this? It's so cute. I don't know. Maybe one of the children of the family, the is kind of like a teenager, or maybe a young adult. How much is it, sir? And he said, 1,000 naira. And so I had a budget, and I said, you know what? I'm going to find a way to save 1,000 naira. Now, for context, they gave me 5 naira to school every day. and that was just like, you know what, 5 naira will probably get you a biscuit or something. Yeah, you wouldn't buy two things, maybe just a biscuit at the time, or maybe two biscuits. I don't know, maybe just a biscuit, maybe. And so my mom would give me 5 naira to school every day, and that was just nothing because we always had food too. It's not like I needed to buy anything, but or sweets also. But I started saving that money, and I think I rallied my brothers, but they were not really in on it. Like it was just my mission. I just wanted to save. And so I started saving, saving, saving. Then a visitor will come, give you 100 naira. I'll save it. This one come. There was a day somebody gave me, and this. I mean, it looks small now, but it wasn't small at the time, especially to an 8-year-old boy. Yeah, it wasn't small to me. And so, because what was I using money for? There was no phones. I was not buying credits. I didn't have to worry about food, shelter, rent. I just wanted a puppy, and so I was saving, saving, saving. And I remember one of my cousins, my cousin's dad. That's my uncle. My uncle came one day, and he visited because my cousins they were living with us, and he came to visit his children. And when he was leaving, I think he was looking for anybody. Just saw me, just gave me 500 naira. Get ye. I was like, that was like the biggest thing to my investments that day. I was so happy, like, yeah. So I actually saved up. I gave another thing that we need to talk about, the culture of you give you money, you give your mom to keep it for you, and then she will ask her for it. She start dribbling you. I think we need to talk about that. So there was someone that gave me, I think, 100 naira or so. I took 20 naira out of it. I gave my mom the 80 naira. Please, mommy, keep it for me. So I had saved up to 960. When I asked my mom for my 80 naira, she started giving me dribble. I may not be eating. No baby, they feed you. I don't worry. Don't disturb me. But it's one of those things anyway. My mom is a very beautiful woman. No, it's just not. It's just part of it. I think that was the culture. That is the culture. But I think anyway, I say that to say this. I saved a lot of money, 960, and I was saving it publicly in the middle of the house in a drawer. There's nobody that steals, and we're all children anyway. And so everyone knew. My brothers put like my older brother, I think, puts like maybe 100 naira or so, to 180 or so. So it's more. It's not. It wasn't just me that saved the money, but I was like the guy that had most of the money, maybe like 700 or 800 naira, something like that. And so I was actually like rooting, like, yes, somebody will just give me money and I'll just go and buy this puppy. For context, I don't think I'll have gotten that puppy passed into my house because my mom doesn't like puppies at the time. Eventually, she grew up to like dogs, and you know, we all change. We have a few dogs at home now, but at the time, she doesn't like puppies. And then, anyway, um, one day I just came to the house and I didn't find the money. I realized I was mad. Where's my money now? Who took this money? Where's my money? Come and find out, my cousin had actually fallen sick and they needed to buy drugs for him, and they were scrambling around for money, money to buy drugs for this boy. And my mom and my auntie just went into the place I've been saving money, and they took that money and used it to buy drugs for my cousin. That thing pained me, bruh. It pained me. That thing pained me. Now, for context, I'm not saying this to say, oh, they don't love me or something. No, they love me. They really love me. And now I'm thinking about it, because my cousin was a sickle cell sickler. We lost him. May he so rest in peace. Eventually, like later on, I have a lot of fond memories from him. But now that I think about it, I thank God that my money was used for treatment for him. I think that was the best case use for my money at the time. Now that I'm an adult, I say thank God, because thank God at least. It's not like there was no money, to be honest. I think they would have found money to use. But I'm happy that my money went to that course. But now we've grown up and nobody's perfect. This is not a shade on my parents or my auntie or anything, because they gave me the best education, the best upbringing, the best. We never had to worry. There was nothing. Everything was fine. We own our own home. We live in a gated community all my life. I've always been protected. But that was the best they thought about. Like, what does this child need all this money for? We need this is life and death. And maybe they didn't have cash at the time, and you just, what, people, adults dealing with adult things. Like, just take this and just quickly do it. Maybe we'll replace it. When you ask for the money back, have I not been feeding you? Am I so? We all know the story. But now we've learned our lesson. I'm saying this. How does that experience as a young person, when that happens to you, how does that shape you? How does that make you become someone else? Does that mean, how does that affect your culture and saving? If you read this book, Psychology of Money, you understand that the people that actually saved during, people that actually got wiped out during a recession, they have a very bad worldview on investments and all that. Meanwhile, the people that made money during the bull run, they're like, oh yeah, buy stock. If you speak to these people, they are the people that actually did the same actions, the same mindset, different results that would actually shape your worldview on life. And so, as a parent, as a young adult, how are we getting better in our interactions with children? Now, me personally, I don't think it affected me, other than I think the lesson I learned was don't tell anybody about your savings. Keep it to yourself. Don't put it in a public place that anybody can see it and touch it. And for context, my family is actually very beautiful. They're very, very, very nice people. Everybody is very beautiful. It's not a shade on saying, oh, this person took my money. And no, 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 no. No. There are a lot more sacrifices that I cannot even speak about that have been done. That I would just say, fam, let me just not talk. A lot has been done from, like my mom especially. A lot of sacrifices she's made for us. So it's not even a shade on. Oh no, no, no. It's just putting that out there so that we don't make any mistakes. But I have to talk about it so that we can learn. I'm just bringing this story for education purposes. Excuse me, so that we can learn and how we can do better. That action was an adult decision, but it actually affected how I started to see things. I didn't even save anymore. Well, then again, I couldn't save. I just got into boarding house. Actually, I saved. And I scratched that. I actually saved some money. I was in boarding house and I bought my game. I bought a game. I bought a this game shaft. We used to call it Family Com at the time, but yeah, I got a game. And for context, when I got promoted, that I think I was in primary four. That time that happened, I got promoted to primary six. My mom got me a Sega Mega Drive, and so that was so beautiful. That I still have that game somewhere. It never worked in my house. We used to work in the. That's a story for another day. But I still have that game, and that's something. Anyway, I appreciate your audience. Maybe you can talk about it in the comment section. What are the things you experienced as children that might have shaped your mindset? What are the mistakes that you think your parents made, or not mistakes, let me not call it mistakes, because mistake, it might have been a mistake, but something they had done but you think you would do differently? How would you handle this situation differently? You understand? Thank you very much. God bless you. Bye bye.